Hey yo, what is good, people? Welcome to Yo Nerd episode 35. I'm Malcolm, the creator of 615 Comics and the Yo Nerd podcast. And this is the Yo Nerd podcast where I talk about, different stuff within the nerd realm. Lately, I've had special guests come on and talk about their comic books and stuff like that. But I'm back with another solo episode, y'all. So, how y'all doing? I know you can't really respond, but whatever. But so just to start this episode off, y'all, like I said, I've been having special guests on these episodes to talk about the Kickstarters, but I will be having special guests come on just to talk, not about to promote anything, but just talk about comics and different topics within the nerd realm. I'm gonna do more collaborative effort on this podcast to talk to other nerds and actually, have discussions about things. You feel me? So it's not just me speaking my opinions to y'all, all 11 of y'all that watch. You feel me? But yeah, it's not just me speaking to y'all, but it's actually having a conversation. I think that will actually help the channel have better conversations and better talks on your nerd podcast. So I definitely will be having a lot more special guests. I have some lined up actually to come on and talk, and also be doing this thing where I want to do creator chaos. Creator chaos is basically a segment where it's going to be live, you really feel me, and I have creators on and talk about basically just what they're going through as comic book creators and things they're challenges they're facing, or maybe the ups and downs or things behind the scenes that they're doing. Because one thing with this channel that I really wanted to do was also help other indie creators, indie comic book creators in their journey and help them learn and give information and knowledge just to help people. And I think one way to do that would be to have other creators come on and just talk about the things they're going on in real time and like that they're going through at that time, and kind of talk it out and also have it live, so if people have questions they can ask. So I think that would be dope. That's something I'm going to be doing, so be on the lookout for that in the future. So be on the lookout for more guests, and also be on the lookout for creator chaos, where we're talking to creators and kind of digging into their lives as creators. All right. So I got a pretty interesting show for y'all today. One thing I haven't been doing a lot lately, I feel like I haven't been talking about comics enough. As a comic book, podcast, I feel like I have not been talking about comics enough. So we're gonna start this off with just comic books and kind of like the boom of comics right now and the creativity of comics. We're gonna talk about this kind of like on a couple levels. The first one I want to start off with is just like I said, the creativity and the new stories, bro. So there's a lot going on within comics. I know people, we've seen a lot of talks about people having trouble jumping into comics. People think comics are just DC and Marvel, you feel me? But like I've been saying a lot, there's a lot more comics out there besides DC and Marvel. There's a lot more comics that are not superhero genre. There's so many comics out there ranging from horror, romance, mystery, action, bang bang shoot 'em ups, westerns, anything you could think of, sci-fi. There's all those in comics and a plethora of it. Like it's in abundance, bro. Like you can definitely get a bunch of dope comic books. And right now, there's so much creativity out there that I kind of just wanted to shed light on. So like Image Comics has this comic called Dwark, which is basically a dwarf and an orc put together, right? And it's basically this character who the main character is the bad side, the light and the dark side both think that he is going to bring about the demise of the world, right? So they're all going after him, and he also has like a magic shield that talks to him, and this beheaded ghost chicken that follows him. So it's a very interesting series. There was also an interesting series not that long ago called Barbaric that was actually very kind of similar, just not on the funny side. Dork is more so comedic, you feel me? But Barbaric was comedic at times. Actually, no, it was actually very comedic. It was very comedic, but more serious and more violent. Even though both series are very much alike, they are very much like, it's just one is a little bit more goofy than the other, right? So Barbaric was one about this barbarian who had this axe, and he has to only do good with the axe, and the axe has to do good, but the axe is like it talks to him and it also eats people. Like he kills the bad people and the axe eats these people, and the axe wants to eat these people. So, and Barbaric was a whole series that had like spin-offs and everything that I need to catch up on. I read the first volume of it. I think there's like 3 or 4 volumes of spin-offs of this story within this universe. So that's also one that's very interesting. Image has a lot of books out right now. They have this one joint called Final Boss by one of my favorite artists who is now writing a comic. It's called Final Boss, and it's basically seen is like an action comic, but it's like a video game. You feel me? Like it really feels like a video game. Like he powers up. Like think of like Solo Leveling, but on kind of like a vigilante type of tip. You feel me? So that's out. That's very interesting. There's also comic that I got right here. 51 is kind of like an Area 51 type of comic. I still need to go to read this joint, but that joint was also pretty dope. What's wrong with my camera? Why my camera messing up? What blurry is it? My camera just went blurry on me, but hey, we're just gonna continue on with the podcast. All right. So also there's stuff like White Sky, which is basically like a post-apocalyptic story. You feel me? Like a post-apocalyptic story where that is kind of like The Walking Dead, but with a twist. It's very different than The Walking Dead. Like the things that's killing the people in this joint is definitely different. I actually got it right here, actually. White Sky. Sorry, but my camera being tripping right now for y'all. But hey, hopefully you're just listening to this and not looking at me. Plus, my camera ain't never been good. My lighting ain't never been good. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff in comics right now, a lot of creativity, a lot of really dope books out that people should definitely check out that I feel like people would love and enjoy actually. There we go. I'm just gonna go with this cam right here. Hey y'all, it's back again. But yeah, so I'm just saying like there's a lot of new comics out there. There's a lot of like creative stuff you can jump onto right now with different genres. Like I said, Final Boss that I mentioned was basically an action comic that's like a video game. It's like Solo Leveling, like on that tip. White Sky was like a post-apocalyptic story with interesting set of monsters. You feel me? What I'll say, Dork is like a whole fantasy type of comic. You feel me? Like a funny Lord of the Rings type of deal. You feel me? Yeah, there's so much stuff out there, and especially with comics booming right now, which also goes to the second tier of this conversation I want to talk about. We have comics like Absolute Batman that are bringing in new readers. So I've actually seen video. I've seen this one video with a guy from the Comics Den, which is this dope comic book store in LA. Actually, if you saw the comic shop, that was like this comedy about working in a comic shop that was on YouTube, which is actually really dope. One created by black people by a black woman. You should definitely check that out. But the comic shop that they used in the show was called the Comic Den, and the Comic Den is a very dope black guy. He's on social media, he a lot, and I watched some of his videos, and he was talking about how Absolute Batman. I think they asked him like impactful comics in history, and he's an absolute Batman, even though it's more recent. And he was basically like, it's bringing in so many new readers who are coming to Absolute Batman, but also then picking up other stuff off the shelves. You feel me? Because like Absolute Batman, of course, Batman is a moneymaker. We all know Batman is a moneymaker, and the fact that Scott Snyder and DC did something totally different with Batman. It's not totally different, but they did something new and inventive with Batman that brings in new readers, and it's something that was eye catching. And it was Batman in a very different light. And then so what they're doing actually with the Absolute Universe is big. And I think this has brought in a whole bunch of new readers. I actually, not even just him, I was talking to one of the guys at Third Eye who was at a con, and he was talking about just how the Absolute Universe is bringing a whole bunch of people in, and now DC has the new level, which is actually very new reader friendly. Like the Absolute Universe, and that is new reader friendly. I think they've done a great job of doing that. I think I've actually been saying that for a while. I think other people have been saying it. Well, fans have been saying it for a while, just to make these things more new reader friendly. Give us a place to jump onto, you feel me, and then go from there. Instead of it just being like a reboot, we're still got to read the reboots and stuff like that. Like, no, just give us something where we can jump onto. And I think that's something that they are doing right now. DC, and that's bringing a lot of new readers. Comic shops are saying it, fans are jumping onto it, and it's also them reading more books. So one thing I love about that is the fact that if people are coming in, new readers are coming in, being more excited, being brought in by these DC and Marvels, we actually really need to let people know that comics aren't just superhero comics. We need to let people know there's more that they can read, more that they can check out, that may be more their fancy than actually the superhero comics. You feel me? So I think that's one thing that's going good. I think that's the way to transition to more readers. And also a lot of shows and stuff are being created off comics. A lot of animes are also being created off comics and stuff like that. So we see it's a growing genre. It's growing with a lot of interest, and I just think comic books are a very dope medium. I think that once people really get into it and see how dope it is, they kind of stay and they kind of continue reading comics. It can be a crazy as a collector, especially if you're going physicals. But we're also saw an article about the boom in digital sales, which I actually will talk about that. Not probably not on this. Why not? Well, I will talk about it later. The boom in digital sales. I'll add on to this list. It got a couple things I can take off to add that. But yeah, I think this is great for the comic books. I think it's great to like show these people these new. Oh, that's what I was talking about. This comics being a great medium to where you can read, you can still get that the reading aspects and also the comprehension that comes with it. Like I really think comic books can be a great learning device, especially for kids. Especially my son growing up, definitely going to have him reading comics off jump because the pictures will what attract him, but the story will keep his reading level up and keep his comprehension up. You feel me? So I think that's one thing that I'm definitely gonna do with my son. I see my sister do it with her daughter, and my brother do it with his kid. Also, all my siblings, you feel me, have done it. So I think that's one thing I'm gonna do. And yeah, I just think this boom in comics is great, and I think it's going to continue on, and I think we'll get more creativity out of this. I think we'll also get more live action and more anime and more just media based off comic books, which is really dope. So that means you definitely getting comic books. Once the movies start coming, these comics will be selling like hotcakes. Hotcakes, you feel me? So um but that also brings me to a topic that I saw that I'm actually wanting to bring on Tashi from Midnight Comics. What a shout out to you, Tashi, if you're watching this episode. But she is a female creator, a woman creator in the comic book scene, and she does a lot of talking about women in comics and stuff like that. And so I actually saw this video about this. It's comical opinions. I think that's the page is on YouTube. It's one of my favorite comic pages. I watch it all the time. They talk about different about stuff in the comic industry and everything. And he made this video talking about how yeah, we're getting this boom of people coming into comic books, but it's mainly for men. Like this boom is mainly for men to where we're not getting a lot of female or women readers to jumping on to comics like that. And he basically saying that they need to do a better job of giving them something to jump onto, giving them a place to go that is more for women and not so male coded. You feel me? Because he mentioned some examples of comics that were more on the male leaning side. It may have been like maybe a like even he said absolute Wonder Woman. Yes, that's a woman character, you feel me, and then women can read it, but it's kind of leans more so to for the men. You get me? You get like more so our taste in comics. You get what I'm saying? That's what he was saying in the video. And then so I thought that was very interesting, especially with this boom in comics and it being towards one demographic. And I think for comics to grow, and he also said this in this video, that you want to do more than that. And so one thing he was saying in the video is not just, not taking away one hero to kind of code, taking away one hero or turn it into a woman or gender swapping or trying to write a story to make it more so for women. Is like, no, give them something new, something original, something fresh. Basically like the absolute universe. Give women something new and fresh where they can jump onto his comics. Because there are, no matter what people be saying, women like comics, women like these mediums, women like these stories. So you feel me? So at the same time, I think they're just looking for stories that interest them. You feel me? Especially with there being so many male writers and then comics being so much of male dominated industry, like where you're getting a lot of male coded books and stuff like that, to where women, may not want to jump on or may not be interested in jumping on to because it doesn't really relate to them. You feel me? So that was something I thought was very interesting. It's something that a topic that I want to expand on in the future. And of course, I can't just expand on myself being a dude because it'll all be male coded, like I just said. So I definitely want to bring on some women creators and women in the industry to talk about that. And Tashi is the main one to talk about it because, I mean, of course, I can contact her easier, just hit her up on Instagram and then be like, hey, you want to come on the show? So I think that's one thing I definitely want to do is go into that. But I think that was interesting, just expanding off of the absolute Batman and them bringing all these people, bringing all these new readers in, but it not being so spread out with the demographic. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was hella interesting and something that I definitely want to expand on in the future. Just to give my advice, I think definitely we need more. We see, even in the DC realm where women characters don't get enough shine. Like Monica Rambeau, I think she just recently got her first solo run like a few years back, and then but she's been even a leader of Avengers. The Black Comic Lords were actually I literally just got off their live stream and recorded this video, and they were talking about just some of the like Vixen was in a lot of Justice League books, but she wasn't in her own book, and it's like you got to kind of go back to get those and read those actually. And also they actually posed a really good Paul actually posed a good idea about how during Black History Month, what DC should do is put out like a trade of all like Vixen appearances, you feel me? Or Marvel should do that where Monica Rambeau appearances, or we have these Black characters, we put out volumes of their appearances if they haven't been in a lot of books. And I thought that was a great idea. But to go back to the women of comics, sorry, my ADHD. But like, yeah, if we can get more stuff for women, some more where it's forefronting of women, you feel me? Women creative teams, you feel me? To do these characters and put these stories out there. And even so, even outside the DC Marvel, even in the more image and stuff, maybe do some more comics that are more so for them. I know my niece, she loves romance manga. Like she loves romance manga. So I mean, if that's something that women are looking forward to, like maybe put more romance comics out there. Women love 50 Shades of Grey. We're the comic book of like that. We're the 50 Shades of Grey comic. You feel me? Like something like that. Like I remember growing up, women love Zane Sex Chronicle books. You remember them joints? They even made a show about that joint. But like maybe books like that, mystery. I know my mom and all the women in my life used to love murder mysteries. Maybe more so like that. That's more so for women. Now I don't know. This I'm saying all these, and these could be stuff that women don't even like reading. But I think kind of give them something to jump on to, give them something to where if you're like, okay, you're coming in to kind of check out these absolute stuff. Hey, well maybe this is here too for you. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's just be one way we can get more women to read comics and to jump on the comics. It's easy enough. Just give them something that they want to read. That seems simple, but yeah. But I'm gonna continue on. I'm gonna go into my next topic of today, which we're gonna continue on the topic of comics, and actually want to pull out my phone for this to make sure I give all the right information. You feel me? With my tabs at. So y'all, we're getting a new Bishop book. We're getting a new Bishop book. It's only a 5-issue solo series because you know how they do Black Heroes. We're not getting the whole thing. We only getting 3 to 5 issues. That's all we gonna get. And hopefully it's good. But we're getting a new Bishop series out of the X-Men run. So apparently X-Men right now is going through this whole Shadows of Tomorrow era in X-Men storytelling. So this is kind of out of that era. Now I'm not on to X-Men. I haven't been on X-Men for a while. Kind of X-Men not really interest me as much lately. But with X-Men, right now, the Shadows of Tomorrow, they have this new Bishop book. And if you don't know Bishop is a hero within the X-Men who is kind of a time hero, and also he can take in energy and redisperse the energy, and can put it out like guns and stuff like that. He's actually a pretty cool character. And actually getting more into his character later. But they got a brand new series, and it's written by Saladin Ahmed. I hope I'm saying that right. He was the writer for Miles Morales Spider-Man for a good little bit, and I think he did a good job with that. So I want to see what he does with Bishop in this new series. And apparently this series, if I but this is not what is this? This is not right. Oh, hold on. Let me get what the series is about. In this series, Bishop finds himself in a fight against fate when the final brotherhood, a new group of villains originating from his future, journey to the past to end his time in the present once and for all. In order to stop them and prevent further disruption of the timeline, Bishop will team up with his sister, Shard, a fan favorite character who starred in 90s X Factors as well as previous Bishop series, solo series. All right, so we're getting, like I said, we're getting brand new Bishop series, which I'm definitely going to check out and I'm definitely going to try, because this news leads me into my next topic. But Bishop's always been a character that I like, love, would get anything if something new comes out of him, but it's not a character I really know a lot about. You feel me? So I like want to talk about characters that like you're a fan of, but you're not really a fan of, like characters you like. So, for example, characters that I like, the Phantom, and also which I just found out there's a black version of Phantom. I got his books in my cart on this other tab there on my screen right now. But that's it. So the Phantom and Shadowhawk were two characters that I like them. I like their character design, I like their look, and I kind of like their theme, right? But I haven't really gotten it. Well, Shadowhawk, I've gotten into his comics. I've gotten into his comics. Me getting into his comics makes me not like his character as much and wish there was more overall because there's cool character design, good startup backstory. You feel me? Like the Phantom, also with the Phantom, is I saw the movie and that made me a huge fan of the character. But now that I find out he's a comic character, I'm not liking his comics as much, and I'm also wishing that he was different, which I would talk about. I'll talk about right now. I just was watching the Black Comic Lords. Like I said, I was watching the Black Comic Lords Wednesday wrap up before I started recording this, and I found out. Well, actually, I found out that not just me, but Paul and other people feel like the Phantom should be black. And I've been thinking about this the whole time because the island or whatever, the people that he's fighting with and to protect are all black or brown people. I think in one story they are in Africa. But like I'm like, why is he not black? Why is he not black? And then Paul made a great point how he always has a white woman, but for some reason he lives on this island with a bunch of brown and black people. So like, yeah, I've always thought the Phantom should be black. It's always been my thought. I've liked the character, but I've always thought he should be black. But that's neither here nor there. But he's a character that I'm really pretty much a fan of, but not a fan of his comics. And that also goes into the conversation about you can be a fan of a character, but doesn't mean you're a comic book fan, right? So like, I like Shadowhawk. I like his design, but he's also a black hero that ends up dying from AIDS and then getting replaced by a white character, and then they bring it back to a black character, right? So parts of his storyline I'm not really a fan of, but I'm such a fan of his character design. Like I would love to write a story. Like if they put out anything with Shadowhawk, I'm gonna buy it. They just put out a Shadowhawk not that long ago, maybe a few years ago, that was whatever. It was literally just whatever. But I bought it because I'm a fan of that character and that design. You feel me? And the same thing with the Phantom. But even though I don't read a lot of his comics or know about his comics, I'm still much a fan, which you can definitely be a fan of these characters, but I can't say I'm a comic book fan of theirs. Well, Shadowhawk, yes, I can, but the Phantom, I only own a few the Phantom comics. And he's coming out with a live series that's by Reginald Hudlin, who is one of the creators of Milestone. He's actually coming out with a live action series for the Phantom, and I can't wait for that. My ADHD is really taking over this whole segment. But that's what I'm saying. Like, there are characters that I know I love, like Bishop and Shadowhawk and the Phantom, but I don't know too much about. I can't call them myself, like an expert on them. You feel me? Like, or say I've dived too much into them. But those are kind of characters that I like that that I'm a fan of, but I can't say I'm a comic book fan of theirs. You get what I'm saying? So, and that also, like I said, that goes to the conversation we was having, that people was having like maybe a month ago, about being a fan of a character like in the movies, but not being a fan of their comics. And to y'all people that are fan of ones in the movies, please stay out of comic book conversations. Please stay out of comic book conversations, because y'all be getting eaten up and y'all just be saying dumb stuff. Like I hate when I gotta argue about somebody with T'Challa and Black Panther, because they just be saying dumb stuff and they just be saying stuff regurgitated by other people who don't read comics. You feel me? So yeah, for you fans who are fans of movie characters, stay out of comic book conversations. Mind your own business. When you talk about the movies, come in there. Come in there. Come in there. When we talk about comics, stay out of it. But speaking of, this also another great segue. So Zorro and Django, they have a comic book series out, right? These two outlaws, you feel me? They have a comic series out. They seem like they were match. Well, there seems like they're making that a movie. You feel me? They're making Zorro the Django the movie, which I think will be very interesting. I think Zorro is also an interesting character. He's also a character like Phantom Phantom and Shadowhawk's character. I like his design, but I don't think I've ever read a Zorro comic. I think I bought one because I thought it was cool, but I don't think I actually read it. You feel me? So, but they're coming out with a Zorro and Django movie. So I wonder how that's going to work and what that's going to be like. And I wonder if Jamie Foxx will make an appearance. I don't think he'll be Django, but it would be dope to see if Jamie Foxx makes an appearance in there. So I'm like, or they do Old Man Django teaming up with young Zorro. That might be tough. I never read the Zorro and Django book, so I don't know what they're about. But that actually might be tough. You feel me? All right. So also, next up on the news that we have, so James Gunn actually just did an announcement talking about stuff, some good, some bad news. You feel me? So, uh, Booster Gold, and Paradise Lost are two series that are in production. You feel me? And Paradise Lost is the Wonder Woman series. I think it's about Themyscira, the island that Wonder Woman's from. So maybe like an Amazon type thing. So like Booster Gold and Paradise Lost are two series that are in production. I'm happy and mad because I love Wonder Woman and hate Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of the characters that I hate. Every time they plug him into a story, I'm like, oh my God, here go Booster Gold again. And they always bring him back with some story. I just hate Booster Gold. I hate his look. I hate he goofy. Like if Booster Gold was a real person, I would want to punch him in his face. I'm not gonna lie to you. So I'm still gonna watch the live action. It's some comic book stuff, so I'm gonna watch it. But I'm not too excited for that. But also, James Gunn said that the Authority, the one with like the Midnighter and Apollo, those comics, he said that is canceled, which I kind of figured was. I didn't even think they was actually when they announced that they were trying to do the Authority. I was like, so you're gonna come in with all these kind of, how can I put this? You come with these like to me kind of versions of other characters. You feel me? Like we gonna get Midnighter, but really he kind of like a to me Batman in a way. Sorry for y'all that are Authority fans. Sorry if I'm ripping on y'all characters, but they are kind of to me Justice League. I'm not gonna lie to you. So yeah, so I didn't kind of see where that was gonna go when they announced that, and he even said it kind of didn't fit in with everything, which that makes sense. I still don't think the Authority fits in normally, and I could be wrong. I might get hate for that, but hey, that's my opinion. But yeah, those are two movies that are coming out right now that will be out. So the or I think they're live action things that will be in production. So those are definitely coming out. So we'll see what happens with those and hopefully keeps us updated on them because it seems like a lot of things that they announced aren't happening, even though and there are a good amount that are happening. You feel me? I was surprised that Clayface is actually happening, which I'm hyped for. I am hyped. I think it's gonna be dope. I love this whole horror way of doing Batman or villains or like a sad way of doing them. Cause man, we gotta talk about it, bro. Batman and villains really been killing it, bro. The Joker movie, which was we're not gonna talk about Joker number two, but Joker movie is one of the saddest movies. I've literally only seen that movie once. It's such a great movie, but it's so sad I will never see it again. Penguin was a fire show. I need to go back to that and go back. And then Clayface, I feel like, and especially with Batman villains, you get so many different genres. Like you can like I said, you got the sad, the depression with the Joker movie, which you could did Joker in a lot. You could have done horror, you could have done like torture horror, like Saw type with Joker. Could did a lot. But they went like kind of the more sad story with the Joker. And whereas for Clayface, we're going with horror, it seems like body horror. And also with Penguin, kind of went into more like a gang, like Sopranos, Godfather type of deal, which I think you can do so much stuff with Batman stuff. I think it's kind of where Sony kind of dropped the ball with kind of doing their villains movies, where they kind of wanted to make their villain movies hero movies, and that was kind of weird. But I think that's how they dropped the ball. To whereas DC is doing these Batman villains differently because you kind of can and should, because Batman villains are so vast. They're so different. What I want to say, it's not the word variety. It's not the word I want to say, but they're so different. There's so much stuff they're so complex, you feel me? They're deep, you feel me? So there's so much you can do with Batman villains that you don't even need him in to actually do for real. So I think that's dope. I think what they're doing with that whole Batman and everything is fire with these villains, even though we're getting different ones and then probably gonna get something different with the Batman in his movie. But they're doing a great job with these villains, doing a great with making a Riddler kind of like the Zodiac in the Batman movie. Like that was tough. That was tough. But yeah, I think it's great what they can do with the Batman villains, and Sony kind of need to take note of that if they're going to keep doing these Spider-Man villain movies. Because I like the Craven movie, but that was not Craven. That wasn't Craven at all, but it was a good movie. I liked it. Good action and all that. Um, I had another topic that I said I was going to talk about later. I should have wrote that down. I think it was around the Zorro, Shadowhawk. Well, I can't remember right now, but hopefully, maybe if I remember later, it can be another conversation on another pod. Oh, actually, no. That remember, we'll end this out with this topic. So, I've been real big deep into my creator and comic book industry bag lately, just learning about things, trying to figure out, my best way to put my comics out there, get my name out there, and stuff like that. So, one of the things that I saw recently was digitals. I saw an article about digitals and how digitals is like $1 billion market, but creators barely see any of it. Like so, with like subscriptions and stuff like that. Like it's let's say Global Comics. Global Comics is a site where you can put your digitals as an indie creator on there, and then like you kind of get paid as the reads. But like I get but so many reads, and then I get like cents back on that. So basically, we're saying that there's $1 billion industry, but creators aren't really making that much off the digitals. You feel me? Unless they have it themselves. So it's basically just talking about, you as a creator, you kind of want to build up your catalog because the reason why DC and Marvel can do things like their digital catalog because they have a lot of it. They have a vast catalog, and plus they're always putting out stuff every month, so they can always add to this catalog and to where people can go to, and they always have content in that subscription base. So they're paying every month to have this catalog, which they can go to find any Marvel comic that's on there, read it and all that, or DC. You feel me? So it's basically saying like as an indie creator, you kind of want to build up your fan base and build up your catalog so you can drive people to your digital subscriptions and stuff like that. And even me as a creator, I know that digitals is a great way. It's a way for me to sell my comic books without even have to get anything printed, without have to ship off anything. It's like no cost for me to give somebody a PDF. You feel me? So it's real easy in that form. You feel me? More so than physicals. And even if you don't have physicals on hand, every month on my website I can be like, hey, I got all my comics available digitally on my website. Check them out, check them out, check them out. You feel me? So for me, what I took from the article was to really build out your fan base and kind of take control of your digitals. It's kind of like in music and controlling your masters. So like and having being able to distribute your masters and stuff like that and getting paid off it. So I think that's one thing that I want to do, and it also shows you you gotta be in it for the love too. Like of course, actually got a lot of things I can talk about in this, but you want to be in it for the love, like because you may not make the money. Like there may be money in this industry, but you actually may not make the money. Also, kind of like the music industry in a way. But it says to really learn from to be in it because you love it, but also to be smart and kind of take control of what you're doing and kind of build out your fan base, build out somewhere you can got an email list or build out to where you can finally get people to subscribe to your digital platform where they can get comics, and maybe they can get comics every month, you feel me, on this digital platform and do it digitally. So kind of just take control of what you're doing, and that can help you make money in the future. That's kind of what I took from it. And also that you might not make money and should be in it for the love. But that's also to really end this out, on that. Why is there a comic section to this too? To be in it for the love, and that you gotta be in it, have your heart in it. You feel me? But one thing around that conversation is this kind of this taboo thing about money, especially when it comes to us as artists and creators. We have this little taboo thing about money and making money and selling your art, where people are like, I just do this for free. I just do this for the love, blah, 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 which is good. I totally get that. But I think doing things for the love sometimes means doing it for money. You get what I'm saying? So to explain that is I love making comic books. I love it. I love getting pages back. I love writing the comics. I love hitting up artists, talking to them, collaborating them. I love doing it. And I love it so much I want to do this every day. I want it to be my full-time thing. And we all know we got bills to pay. We got lives to live. You feel me? We got people counting on us. I mean, I got my wife, I got my son. You feel me? So, yes, I could make comics all day, every day, quit my job and do that. But I wouldn't have no money to live and I wouldn't have no money to make the comics. You feel me? So, sometimes being about it for the loves means being about it for the money so you can do it full time. You can do it like you love it. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, I want to do this full time. And to do this full time, I have to make money off it. These comics have to make money so I can put it back into the business and make more comics, and also to be able to do it full time without having to go to my job. You feel me? Because I got a job now. I got a job like everybody else, 9 to 5, to help me produce these comics and pay for my life. You feel me? But sometimes being in it with your heart and being it for the love of the game means being in it for the money so you can be about the love of the game. You get me? Because making comics is not cheap, bro. It's not cheap at all. You feel me? So for me to continue to make comics, the comics got to make money so I continue to make the comics and I don't go broke and my wife don't leave me. You feel me? So but that's what I just think that's one thing that doesn't get talked about enough, to where yes, it should be about the artistry. Yes, it should be about the love of the game. Yes, it should be about, getting better as an artist and things like that, getting better as a writer, all of that. It should be. But at the same time, it's also about being realistic. It's also about being like, you want to do this. It brings you joy. It brings you happiness. That's why you want to do it all the time. And to do it all the time, you kind of need to bring in the money. That's why I hate that it gets so taboo when you start to talk about money, and then when it comes to art, and then people kind of look at you different for, trying your best to get the dollar. You feel me? So I think that's kind of sometimes becomes taboo. But for me, it's always about the love. That's where the want for the money comes in, because I want to just be able to do this. You feel me? There be days I don't want to go to work and then sit at work and think about all these comic ideas like me writing, but I gotta be doing something at work. You feel me? Like, I know I don't want to do that. I want to get the idea, make the idea. You feel me? So, or create the idea. So yeah, that's one thing I think that is really weird to me. Just sometimes where people look at you funny for being about the money, as if you don't love it as much as somebody else who would just do it for free. Because the reason why I'm working so hard and doing all these things to get the dollar and doing things I don't want to do is so I can actually just do this all the time. You feel me? So that's my little 2 bits on it. That's where I'll end this episode. So as always, y'all, if anything in this video that you didn't like, please comment. Let me know what's up. Let's argue about it. If you loved it, let's talk about it. Let's continue the discussion. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It helps me grow. I actually think I reached 600 followers. Hold on. Where my shit at? Where my shit at? I think I reached 600 followers, subscribers on YouTube. On the YouTube. Let me see. On view channel 606. Dang, I think I just went up like 4 subscribers. Hey, whatever. We get more subscribers, but not as many views. So keep viewing the videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, and tell your friends about me. Tell your friends about Yo Nerd. We're gonna be doing, like I said, we're doing a lot more creator-based stuff to help creators, but also we'll be talking a lot more about comics. I kind of feel like I got away from talking about comics as much. You feel me? And like diving into them. So we'll be doing a lot more of that, a lot more creator content. So come on back, tell your friends about us, like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and thank y'all for watching another episode of Yo Nerd. Peace.